Have you ever felt completely drained after spending time with someone? Like your energy, your joy, even your sense of peace has been taken from you. You're not alone, and it's not unspiritual to feel that way. It's a warning sign that you may be giving too much of yourself, and not enough to God's priorities for your life. Today's message is called, Learn to Say No. Not to be harsh, but to stay holy. Not to be rude, but to be wise. We often think saying no makes us unkind. But the truth is, sometimes saying no is an act of self-preservation. It's a spiritual boundary that protects your energy, your calling, and your peace. You see, you can't pour from an empty cup. Just like a car can't run without fuel. You can't function spiritually or emotionally if you're constantly depleted. And some people will keep taking, draining your time, your attention, your strength, and leave you running on empty. You start to feel used, burned out, disconnected from. That's why God invites us to guard our time like it's treasure, because it is. In Galatians 1:10, Paul says, Am I now trying to win the approval of man or of God? If I was still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. If you're always saying yes to keep others happy, you may start drifting from the path God laid out for you. Sometimes, the most spiritual word you can say is no. Because when you say yes to things that don't align with your values, your peace, or your purpose, you betray your authentic self. You start living someone else's life, not the one God called you to live. Here's what happens when you don't learn to say no. You compromise your energy. You allow people to take advantage of your kindness. You lose time, which is heaven's most valuable currency. You begin to feel resentment, and eventually burn out. But when you say no with love and conviction, you open space for God to move in your life. You become available to His plans, not just people's demands. Friend, you weren't created to live exhausted and used. You were created to walk in peace, purpose, and power. So don't feel guilty about protecting your time. Don't feel bad about choosing rest over constant obligation. Learn to say no, not to reject people, but to protect the divine assignment on your life. Because your time is holy, your energy is sacred, and your calling is too important to waste. Let your no be just as holy as your on. Subscribe for more messages like this. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you don't have to do it all, just what God has asked you to do.